Hi guys, welcome back to a new video. In this video, we'll create a coin flip animation like you see here. So we'll be making this simple coin flip animation in After Effects. We'll not be using any plugins or anything like that. So we can start with a new project. Then we can start with the composition of 1920 1080 20-second duration, and you can just select any background color, or if you want to keep black itself, it will be okay. I'm just selecting a dark blue color as a background, so we'll not be needing any solid for the time being. So after that, you can select a ellipse, and we can create a simple ellipse for the coin base. Then we'll use pan behind tool in order to make the center point at the center. We can hold control in order to make it center. After that, we can just select nearly golden yellowish color for the fill color, and you can use any color, like if you are looking at a silver color, you can do that as well. And for the stroke color also, I'm doing a darker golden colors. After that, once that is done, you can select the layer and go to the ellipse contents, and in the stroke panel you can just enable dashes. We'll be using some of the dashes here. Once that is done, you can actually change that line cups to round cups, and after that, cups will be edge of each of these dots will be rounded. After that, you can adjust the dashes according to what you needed. Once all of that is completed, you can actually name that layer as gold coin. Then we'll convert that into 3D. Once that converted that into 3D, one thing you have to make sure is we are in Cinema 4D instead of classic 3D. After that, you can just go to the geometry options in the layer menu, and there you can just increase the extrusion depth. And when you are increasing the extrusion depth, if you are not able to see that result of it, you can just rotate the model, the shape a little bit. Then when you increase and decrease that depth, you will be able to clearly see what's happening to that shape we created. And as you can see here, when we increase that width of that depth of that layer, it's actually becoming more thicker, and since we used that dotted lines, we have that as a design as well. So once that is done, you can just reset the rotation, and then we can start adding some lights. So we'll be able to see some glow and shades here and there. So I'm starting with a point light with the intensity of around 80-90. Then we can actually change that value whenever we want, and we are actually disabling all the other options. And just like before, and if you want to see what's happening with the depth and all, you can just use the rotate key, rotate options, and you can just rotate the shape a little bit. That way you'll be able to see how the light is affecting the entire 3D model. So after that, if you want, you can just increase the intensity and things like that. Here I'm increasing the intensity to around 150. That way we have a much brighter color, and we based on that we have a much brighter glow and things like that on our model. Then after that, you can just make a duplicate and move it to a different side. I'm doing it in the opposite side, and reducing that opacity, reducing that intensity, you will be able to make a much different kind of effect. And after that, you can just play with that location and position of those lights in order to get the perfect output. So once you're happy with that, all the output, everything, then you can just reset the rotate values once more, and then we can start animating our coin. So you can just randomly select a duration. Here I'm just in the beginning, I'm selecting 5 seconds, and if you want, we can change it according to how speed or slow we want our animation. So after that, you can just move the coin to the last finished position, and we'll add a position keyframe here, and as well as we'll add a rotation keyframe as well for the rotation y value, and before adding that, we can just rotate it a little bit, so we'll be able to see the depth as well. And after that, we can just add a keyframe for that rotation as well. When you press U, you will be able to see both the rotation and the position values. Then we can just move back to 0 frames, and you can just increase the rotation value in the negative or in the positive. Here I'm going in the negative value, and I'm giving 2 whole rotation, and after that, for the position value, I'll just move it out of that composition, so in the beginning frames it will not be visible. So after that, if you check the animation, you can see as that coin is actually moving towards its final position, it's actually rotating as well as moving. So after that, you can just simply extend that you can just move 10 or 20 frames from that final position and make a rotation to the opposite side. So we have a animation coming and stopping, and then a slight rotation. So then you can just ease the layers however you want. I'm just adding a little of bit of sharper ease, and for the final rotation, I'm just making it the easing a bit better, so we have a better animation. So like I said, you can experiment with the easing and all. Each of us want a different result, and based on what you are requiring, you will be able to you have to change all of these aspects, but the basic animation process will be the same, but you can change according to what you need. After that, if you play back, you can see the position as well as the rotation is happening, and as you can see here, the animation is a bit slow. So there is actually 2 different methods you can actually make it much faster. One is actually adding more rotation values as well as moving that beginning frames much more distance, or you can just simply reduce the distance between each these keyframes. Here I'm just reducing the keyframes distance. Instead of 5 seconds, we can reduce it a bit more, or like I said before, you can just increase the rotation as well as you can just move that position of that first frame a bit more in the composition panel. After that, if you play back, you can see the result, and based on before, it will be much much faster, and it will have much more rotation and all that. So here I'm just sticking with whatever we did earlier, and you can see the final animation. After that, if you give a few more frames for the pose as well, so that we have the rotation coming to a stop, and the final coin will be paused and standby, so that we can add any extra effects or anything like that later on. So with that, we just completed the basic coin flip animation. The next thing is we can add some glow and things like reflection or a light sweep kind of things, and we'll be doing that in the next upcoming parts. So once that is done, you can select all the layers, and you can create a pre-comp, and here I'm moving all that aspects into a new composition, and by pressing OK, everything will be in a new composition. So you don't have to worry about moving any layers or interfering with the 3D or animation, anything like that. So once that is done, the next thing is we have to add all the extra effects. Like I said, we can add the glow, things like that. And once that pre-comp is made, you can just rename it or anything like that. Here I'm going to add a light sweep first. So once that coin is actually coming to a stop in the first part, before it's rotating to the opposite side, we'll just select that particular frame, and after that we can add a light sweep effect by searching in the effects and preset panel, and under generate you will be getting the CC light sweeping, and you can just add that effect onto that particular composition. After that you can see the first thing is center. That means light sweep, we can actually add the start and end position with that particular option, and after that you can just select a particular position to add the light sweep, and in the straight away you can see some light effect is actually happening when you move that center value. And after that you have options like linear or sharp or smooth in the shape, and then you can rotate how the light sweep position, things like that. Then you have intensity and width of the light sweep. By increasing the intensity you'll be able to see the light sweep much brighter, so I'm actually increasing the intensity. Then we have width intensity as well as edge thickness. Edge intensity and edge thickness. Edge thickness in the sense where that edge is coming, that center point is there. By increasing that edge intensity and thickness, you will get an edge also other than the light sweep itself. Then you can change the color. After that you have light reception. How that it's more like a blending mode. You can select between add, composite, and cut out. So it actually depend on how you want the effect to be. Here I'm sticking with that add itself, and after that we can start animating or light sweep. So first we'll move it out of our shape so nothing is visible, and we'll add a keyframe for the center, if like center. Then we can move maybe 30 frames by pressing shift and page up and down keys. You can just move backward and forward. After that we'll actually move that light sweep across the entire shape. So we have that light sweep is starting from one position and moving along that entire shape. So that gives us a much more effect, saying that it's some kind of shiny object, it's a metal, that kind of effect. So once you are happy with that result, then you can move on to adding other effects. Like here I'm adding a simple glow. It's optional. If you want it to be much more brighter or something like that, you can experiment with the glow as well. And I'm adding the glow and increasing that glow radius, so we have that glow spreading all over the place. And then after that you can just move that glow effect above the light sweep, so the final light sweep will also have a glow, and it will be much more interesting to look at. So once you're happy with it, you can just play with that intensity and as well as radius of the glow to make it more brighter or more glowish or something like that. Here I'm just increasing the radius as well as reducing the intensity, so we have a mild glow. After that, once you are happy with the entire result, then we can move on to adding a reflection. So there are a few different ways we can actually add a reflection to any object. So here I'm just going with a simple method by duplicating the entire composition, and we'll be flipping it around in the y-axis, and after that we can just mask it out, the things like that. So once you duplicated that particular comb by pressing Ctrl D on the keyboard, you can just name it as coin reflection. Then you can go to scale option and turn off that linking, and in the height value you can just in the y value you can just press add in -100, and the entire coin will be flipped. After that you can just position it perfectly just below that our main coin, and you can just check the animation, everything is happening properly. Once you are happy with that animation, everything, then we can move on to masking the entire shape. So once you are happy with it, you can just select the composition and go to rectangle tool, and then we can just mask a certain part whatever we want. And after adding the mask, in the mask option in the timeline, you can increase the mask feathering to make it a much more furthered effect. After that, you can just play with the mask value and move around the mask in order to get a perfect result what you are looking for. Here I'm just making the mask moving the mask a little bit up, so we have a mild kind of effect. After that, I'm just simply reducing the opacity to maybe 50-60%, so it doesn't have that much of a brighter impact compared to our main coin shape. So once you are happy with the entire animation, we have just completed the entire animation. So I hope this was a really simple tutorial. So I hope you guys learned something, and you will be using these kind of simple animations in your project. So if you have learned something new, subscribe to the channel, and if you like the video, you can share it with your friends, and as well as like the video as well. And if you don't like the video, you can always dislike, and if you have any comments or any questions, leave them in the comment section, and I'll get back onto that.